Hi, I'm Julia from Teaching Resources, and this is another short video on using AI in the classroom. And we're looking more specifically this time in research and how you can actually use it to do some research with your students and show them how to do this as a research tool. And again, as a tool, because they're going to be able to look at the information and decide whether that or not that information is correct. So there's a few different things we can do, but the thing I think we need to really make sure is that we give the kids really good ways to actually find the information they're looking at. Now, what I talked about in the blog post in the video, if you've been watching or reading those, is by using good old Bloom's taxonomy. Now, with Bloom's, obviously the level of questions should give us different information. So I'm just going to show you a few different ways that and results we're going to get. I have no idea what results we're going to get, but let's just see what we've got. I have got some questions already for us, but let's go and share screen. Okay, I'm going to share screen and I'll show you different ways. So we'll look at in Chat GPT as well as Jasper. I said that's the one I'm paying for. I said I'm not an affiliate. No, nothing to do with that. Just want to show you the different results and the different tools that are out there, because there's quite a few coming out and quite a few out there to use. So let's just see what we end up with. So I'll share screen and we'll go to Chat GPT first. Alrighty, so I'm going to go to a new chat, as you can see here. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to just type in the first question, which is I'm going to look at the orchestra, and we're just going to concentrate on the orchestra. So say you were doing that in the class and that was an assignment for your kids, all right? Maybe you're doing large ensembles. I'm going to put in the question, a really simple remembering question, very lower order stuff. What is an orchestra? And let's see what we get. So this is in real time, as you can see. It's given us quite a bit of information, and it's actually not too bad. Okay, again, we could actually use that information, and you could say, give that to the kids and say, well, is that information correct? Do we know that? Okay, no problems with that. But it is still just explaining and describing what an orchestra is. But what about if we go to another question, explain the 4 different families of an orchestra? And I would be doing this as with the kids and actually going, all right, what sort of questions can we ask and get them to come up with it? So the next question one, as said, the 4 things are. And again, this is in real time. Again, not bad information, but can you see though, we've actually got a little bit more detailed information this time. Again, you would have to go through and check that for the validity of this information and see if it's actually all good. Right, our next question, let's see what happens. So I don't know if it's going to be able to do this, but I thought I'd just try it. Let's see what happens, because I'm actually asking it this time to draw a diagram of the orchestra seating chart. I don't know that it's going to do this, so we'll see if it actually can do it, and maybe what are some of the limitations. Let's see what happens. There you go. So unfortunately, it says as a model, don't have those capabilities, but it does tell you in written form the orchestra seating chart usually has this. Now, what you could do is use that with your kids and say, this is the information. Now you draw it and see what your image looks like, and see what the differences are in the classroom. Again, great tool. But let's see what I've got. One more question. Let's see what happens. It says, and the question I've got is comparing a chamber orchestra and a symphony orchestra. So let's see what we end up with this. So this is again that comparison question. So we're talking a bit higher order here, and let's see what happens. Again, in real time. So you can see again, not bad. It says what a chamber orchestra is, and then it talks about the symphony orchestra. So this is good information. There's nothing wrong with any of this information here, and this actually would be quite not too bad in terms of accuracy. But you might find if you're doing a biography or something might be slightly different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do the same things in the other program. Now, it is supposed to use chat GPT as a basis anyway. So let's just I'll just do the last one. So compare the differences and let's see what it does. And again, remember, I always ask it to do 3 variations because that way I get some really good information. Excuse me. It's still thinking. It'll spit it at me in a minute. There you go. So it's just done it as paragraphs. Now, again, you could take that paragraph, and this is how I use this sometimes, is I take that paragraph and expand on it. So let's, all right, let's just choose, I might use this one. I'm going to go copy. I'm going to go to a different thing. All right, and I'll go to templates, and I'm going to go to blog post because usually does paragraph generator. Where is it? Sorry, I'm just trying to find it. Now, see how this one, it can give me, I can put in up to 800 words. So I've actually got too much in there. So let me go back. Again, limitations, see? All right, let's see what happens. Now, this will give me, should expand on this again. I know I've got it as a blog post, but what it generally does is give you quite a few different paragraphs. And in this particular one, this would be an essay. Okay, so yeah. Still thinking. And I'm going to show you one more thing after this. All right, so again, we've got some information, not too bad. And again, you would just go through those. I would personally, again, be giving this to the kids going, all right, what's good about this? What's not good about about it? Give them maybe the marking rubric that you're going to be using and say, all right, how can this, how is this actually good? How could you use this in a presentation? Would this actually answer the question? All right, I'm just going to show you something that might help with this sort of activity. And this is where you need to actually get your kids to put in the right sort of prompt. Now, this is not mine. I found this in, as I said, that AI in the Classroom Facebook group. It's got a lot of great information. They're going to have lots of videos. I would suggest you getting yourself in there. But I'll show you this and what they actually come up with. Hopefully you can see that. Alrighty. So AI in the classroom. So what they talk about is the best way you can actually get kids to do this and use AI appropriately is have a prompt. Give the information, like give that prompt a role, be explicit about your instructions and the parameters. So you might, for me, I mean, I was very broad and I said, okay, I just wanted them to answer the question, but the prompt could have been describe the orchestra or compare the differences. What have I got? Compare the differences between a chamber orchestra and a symphony orchestra. So that could be the prompt. Write it as a student, you know, with a reading age of whatever. Then the next bit could be explicit about your instructions. It needs to be 3 paragraphs long. And the parameters of your answer, it could, yeah, well, 3 paragraphs long, okay? But give them specific instructions. And again, this is something as a tool that you could be using. Then the last bit is that edit. And I really like this part because this is, again, what I'm talking about and why you need to show your kids how to actually do this properly. Evaluate the results, determine the accuracy. Are there any biases in the information? Okay, and transform the content to and adjust it to reflect what you actually are doing, which is what we're talking about. So you give it a decent prompt, then you look at that information with a very critical mindset. Again, this is a tool. Use it as a tool for your kids. Show them how to use it, what the possibilities are, what the limitations are. And if you've been reading the blog post or watching the video that I've got on this channel about AI in the classroom, go have a look at the steps that I give you about what you can and how you'd get them to your kids to actually use this and embrace AI, but not rely on it. All right, so embracing it and use it as a tool within the assessment process, and then going beyond that, because this is, again, a good basis. So if you're asking them to do a video presentation, they can't just give you that information. They actually have to give you a presentation. And you might say, well, in that presentation, you need to give me, compare the differences between the two orchestras. You're doing large ensembles, but I'd be actually looking at the music more itself than the history. But let's just go with it for a minute. And you might say you have to have images, you have to have listening examples that show the differences. You have to have, all these other things which AI can't do for you. AI can't do for the students. And as you could see, it couldn't draw, and this is one of the limitations, it couldn't draw a seating chart. Kids could easily go and Google that and find one, and they'd be able to find an image. So AI still has limitations in the classroom. So just as I said, putting it out there and showing you what the possibilities are. Until next time, I'm Julia from GU Teaching Resources. Happy teaching. Bye.